The mayor of Port of Spain wants to stop the sale of alcohol in bars after midnight. Business owners say the viability of their businesses will be affected. Good evening and welcome. I'm Charlene Ramdani. This is the 7 o'clock news on CNC3.
Good evening and glad you can join us. I'm Samson Anton.
Good evening, I'm Roger Sant.
In the headlines tonight, a report into the death of a mother and her baby at the Port of Spain General Hospital is sent to the AG's office for direction.
Concern about rising crime in Tobago, but the government says security forces are working to bring crime down.
And in sport, WICB says a decision to postpone one-day series in Sri Lanka was practical.
Top of our news tonight. Port of Spain Mayor Louis Leasing says he intends to petition the courts to have bars in St. James and Arapita Avenue stop selling alcohol by midnight. Roshan Sukram reports.
It's a lucrative trade, the sale of alcohol. But Port of Spain Mayor Louis Leasing wants a change in hours for the sale of alcohol, which could directly impact on bar owners and operators in St. James and along Ariapita Avenue. Mayor Leasing told the statutory meeting of the Port of Spain City Corporation on Thursday that he intends to object to the renewal of bar licenses in court which serve alcohol after midnight, and he's already written to Chief Magistrate Marcia Ayres Caesar on the issue.
And we have, in fact, forwarded the appropriate correspondence to the Chief Magistrate requesting that no licenses be renewed for bars in St. James unless there's a caveat that they must stop serving drinks at 12 midnight.
Mayor Leasing says his decision follows numerous complaints by burgesses who say they are unable to access their homes in the early hours of the morning, particularly in cases of emergency. Mayor Leasing admits this would be an unpopular decision, but he says that would not stop him from pursuing it.
We are going to police the courts because that is where we have to attack the problem.
Only weeks ago, the mayor took a decision to rid the streets of the capital city of homeless persons, and while many were hauled before the courts on charges of loitering and being in possession of weapons, many of them are back out on the city streets. For CNC3, I'm Roshan Sukram.
Well, as expected, bar owners and operators are not too pleased with the announcement by the Port of Spain mayor. They say it could impact on the financial viability of their businesses. Again, here's Roshan Sukram.
Signs like these, which read opening any day, anytime, are common to many bars in St. James and along Ariapita Avenue. But it's these same bars that are now being targeted by Port of Spain Mayor Louis Leasing. He wants to clamp down on the sale of alcohol after midnight. Bar owners and operators say it's an initiative which could impact their business further. The business owners say they have been experiencing a decline in sales since the passage of the breathalyzer and anti-smoking laws.
Very badly, that it impacting because that's when people are more come out in the late hours and that's where make an extra dollar.
The bar owners insist they are the ones who have kept the city of Port of Spain alive for decades, and the move by the mayor would impact on their right to enjoyment of property. They are making it clear that bar owners are not responsible for any increase in crime.
As long as you have the police presence out here, to me, you will have less crime.
And the patrons were equally upset by the mayor's proposed move. They say it's unfair that their freedom of enjoyment would be curtailed.
At all. It could never happen. Right? This is the city that never sleep. What are you talking about?
Can't walk. 3 o'clock is just enough for St. James.
We are good citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. We are law-abiding people. It's people enjoying themselves for Christmas.
Bar owners and operators say they will challenge the decision by the mayor. For CNC3, I'm Roshan Sukram.
And that's the story that takes us to your vote tonight. The question we're asking you to vote on: would you support any decision to stop the sale of alcohol at midnight? Text your response to the number 2623. If your response is yes, text Y. If your response is no, text N. We'll give you an update on the voting during the newscast and the final vote at the end of tonight's news. The Health Ministry has completed a report into the death of mother-to-be Nikisha Kane and her unborn child at the Port of Spain General Hospital on November 2nd, and the findings have been sent to the Office of the Attorney General for further action. A statement issued by the Ministry of Health today has stopped short of disclosing what the investigators found, saying the family needs to be informed first. The statement says that Minister Therese Baptiste Cornelis had offered to meet with Keynes' family prior to the minister leaving the country on official business, but that the family was unable to meet with her. The statement says that the minister will meet with the family on her return to the country to fully appraise them on the status of the investigation. Meanwhile, the ministry is continuing to offer support and counseling to family members through the Northwest Regional Health Authority. 26-year-old Kane and her unborn child died during childbirth. Relatives are claiming it was as a result of negligence on the part of medical staff. Attorney General Anand Ramlogan told CNC3 News he is currently reviewing the file and has not yet made a decision on it. Scores of farmers today staged an early morning demonstration in front of First Citizens Bank. They are demanding that the bank change its lending policy towards farmers. Roshan Sakram reports.
Farmers armed with placards staged an early morning protest in front of First Citizens Bank in Port of Spain, calling on the institution to revisit its policy on holding farmers' lands as security. The farmers produced a letter from the bank indicating that collateral from agricultural land is not in keeping with the bank's policy. Spokesman for the group, Liaquat Ali, says this is unacceptable.
Here we have a state-run organization which is First Citizen Bank. And we have a government who is portraying agriculture and the need to feed the nation. And we have a situation where First Citizen Bank policy is not to hold agricultural land as collateral, which we find is an unfair advantage to the farmers of this country.
Mr. Ali says while the Agricultural Development Bank provides some funding, there are farmers who require financial assistance for commercial projects not covered by the ADB.
You know how difficult it is in this country in farming. We have the only form of income is have is farming. They have a piece of agricultural land, they need to get some money. Yes, we have the Agricultural Development Bank, yes. But then again, we have people into commercial activities. Agricultural Bank is not a commercial bank.
The farmers are insisting that given the high cost of production and emphasis on increased food production, government must now intervene.
We are calling on the Minister of Finance, the Agricultural Minister, and the Prime Minister to intervene in this.
The farmers are promising to intensify their protest action if the matter is not resolved in the shortest possible time. For CNC3, I'm Roshan Sakram.
The heads of the Finance and Capital Projects divisions of the University of Trinidad and Tobago have been asked to proceed on leave pending an ongoing financial and legal audit into UTT's operations. UTT Board Chairman Professor Kenneth Ramchan took the decision to ask the two senior officers to go on leave following a meeting with the team of experts appointed by the Attorney General. The team suggested that this was necessary to facilitate the completion of the audit. UTT says the two senior officers have agreed to cooperate and to provide whatever assistance might be needed by the investigating team. The Board of Governors of the UTT is making it clear the decision to send the two officials home pending the investigation is not intended to be punitive or to cast any aspersions on them. It says the decision will be revisited at the end of January 2011, by which time the investigating team has promised to submit its reports on the findings. The Board of Directors of Caribbean Airlines is tonight refuting claims by Works and Transport Minister Jack Warner that it has not been informing him of decisions affecting the operations at the airlines. In a statement sent to the media just a few minutes ago, the CAL Board says it informed the minister by letter dated November 26th of changes to the management of the airline. In addition, it says minutes of the meeting of the boards were delivered to both the Ministry of Works and Transport and the Ministry of Finance on November 30th. And as such, the board is complying with its obligations. It says it is the first time in the history of Caribbean Airlines that minutes of a board meeting were supplied to the respective line minister. As to the dismissal of Captain Ian Brunton as CEO, Caribbean Airlines says it never made public that Captain Brunton was dismissed, choosing instead to terminate him discreetly. It explains that the dismissal was a result of a series of grave actions that took place during the week of November 22nd. Caribbean Airlines says its lawyers are now handling the matter as to the purchase of the aircraft. It says it did not seek to undo any cabinet decision, but thought it prudent to obtain advice from an aviation expert before selecting a new fleet of short-haul aircraft, and is in the process of doing so. Caribbean Airlines further says it is unfortunate that events are playing out in the media without full information, but says since the acquisition of Air Jamaica, there is need for more efficiency of synergies, and the company wants the best available management kept viable. We now join Roger Sant to get a glimpse of what's coming up in our sportscast later. Roger.
Thank you very much, Charlene. Well, we'll bring you some drag racing from in Florida. Sheldon Bisesa once again winning some rubber and doing TNT proud. Plus, it's official, the one-day series over in Sri Lanka postponed. The WICB helps to explain why. Full details later in Sport. Charlene and Samson, back to you.
And that's right, it's over to Samson. He has some more news for us. Samson.
Thank you, Charlene. And before we go on, the question you're voting on tonight is, would you support any decision to stop the sale of alcohol at midnight coming out of the mayor's statement today? Well, text your response to the number 2623. If your response is yes, text Y. If your response is no, text N. We'll give you an update of the voting during the newscast and the final vote at the end of tonight's news. Now, after the break, we'll tell you that massive protests in Britain as Parliament votes to increase tuition fees. Security guards may soon find themselves without jobs, without any proper accreditation. It's World Anti-Corruption Day, and local business say that the perception that TNT is corrupt is hurting our image. And later, Haiti orders an election recount after days of protests. These stories and more after the break.
Capturing the beauty of nature, sharing what I see. That's my vision, and I'm living it. Every day, Transitions lenses are there to help care for my sight.
Transitions lenses adjust to changing light to reduce glare and help protect your eyes from UV damage. So you can see better today and tomorrow. Live your vision. Transitions, healthy sight in every light.
The value. This Christmas is no bore. Yes, Digicel is giving more. Top up to live it up. Get a chance to build your dream house. Oh, one of six $30,000 shopping sprees. It's Christmas, so we're giving you more. You can drive away with an Audi A4. Every time your top up reaches $50. That's all. Or pay your bill in full. This Christmas is no bore. Yes, Digicel is giving more. Top up to live it up. Digicel, TNT's bigger, better network for value.
In more news, the Minister of Tobago Development, Vanella Allen-Toppin, is lamenting the rise of crime in the Sister Isle, but she says the Ministry of National Security is doing its best to address the matter. The minister was addressing today's post-cabinet media conference held in Tobago, where the issue of the Security Intelligence Agency was also raised. Tobago is at present seeing its lowest occupancy rates, and crime on the Sister Isle is not helping, particularly with 2 bodies being found on the island this last week. Tobago Development Minister Vanella Allen-Toppin was addressing the post-cabinet media conference when she addressed the matter. Toppin, who has once acted as Prime Minister, says the problem with crime is something that the government has inherited and is working hard to address it.
In order to put more boots on the ground, you have to have more boots in the services. So although the patrols have started, joint army and police patrols have started, and many initiatives have been put in place, there is overall seems to be a gradual decrease in criminal activity, but every now and then we have these spikes.
But she says the matter has to be a collective one, with members of society taking responsibility for their actions.
This is a country we are dealing with that is coming to the point where it understands that we cannot continue living in this kind of with this kind of level of criminal activity. So the People's Partnership is asking generally for all hands to be on deck in the fight against crime. All neighborhoods, all persons, all the people who are responsible for training young people.
Both Minister Toppin and Tertiary Education Minister Faz Al-Karim were asked whether the Cabinet discussed the whereabouts of the SIA files. They confirmed that the matter would be addressed in Parliament tomorrow.
Tomorrow, there's going to be a statement and there's going to be some continued discussions about the interception of communication bill, and you will get some more information in the Parliament tomorrow in that regard.
The Cabinet meeting was held in Tobago to allow for the Prime Minister's Christmas party for underprivileged children at the Dwight York Stadium. Meanwhile, the Tobago Development Minister says that despite the tensions that exist between her ministry and the Tobago House of Assembly, she's doing what she can to ensure that the people of Tobago are not affected. The minister says she would continue to do everything to ensure growth is not stymied in the island.
If we do not work together, our progress will be stymied. And I have always made moves to work with the House of Assembly. For one thing, At the beginning, and as a part of our manifesto, we had said we would put a committee in place to talk of all the projects that have been stalled that belong to the House of Assembly, and together with the central government, we will move them forward.
The minister says that her ministry has been bombarded with requests from persons both local and abroad wanting to do things on the island, but who complain that they have been blocked by the THA. She says that her ministry will attempt to resolve those issues.
There are many, many, many investors who have come to us with projects and programs. There's an Englishman's Bay Resort Development Project. There's a Kings Bay Resort Development Project. There's one in Speyside. There are initiatives for factories, clean energy factories. There are initiatives for solar and wind-powered electricity systems. And many, many people there. There's a Burns Center request.
Well, a car carrying Prince Charles and the Duchess of Cornwall has been attacked by protesters in violent scenes after MPs voted to raise tuition fees in England to up to £9,000 per year. A window was cracked and their car hit by paint, but the couple were unharmed. In angry scenes, protesters battled with police in Parliament Square and attacked buildings, including the Treasury and the Supreme Court.
In Parliament Square, they'd made their own riot shields. This line, barriers and batons, protected Parliament and the vote. The students are angry, but they fall into two camps. Those older at university.
So many people here, like older generations and younger generations. It's fantastic, sport's fantastic.
Who don't entirely condemn the violence.
If there was never that trouble at Millbank, it would have never been brought to the front pages. And I think that's made a huge difference.
And volatile younger groups from colleges.
We're from the slums of London, yeah? How do they expect us to pay 9,000 for uni fees? You get me? And EMA was the only thing keeping us in college. What's stopping us from doing drug deals on the streets anymore? Nothing.
EMA, educational maintenance allowance payments for poorer students, are being cut.
And just how that would affect Trinidadian and Tobagoan citizens traveling to London to study is a story we will be following in the coming days. Well, Transparency International says that the world is becoming a more corrupt place. More and more people are accepting bribes. But as the United Nations marked International Anti-Corruption Day here at home, the constant talk of corruption is not helping our business image. Charlene Ramdani takes a look.
You go to an office and the clerk tells you it will take 4 days to get that document you so desperately need to get your business deal closed. But if you pay $500 to her out on Frederick Street, she can ensure you get the paperwork done in 15 minutes. Corruption, big or small, is part of our society, and we tend to overlook small situations like the one I've just mentioned because we think it's just the way things are done. Today is International Anti-Corruption Day, and the United Nations says corruption is a threat to development, democracy and stability. According to Transparency International, the world is becoming a more corrupt place. You wouldn't think that was the case in Trinidad. I asked several people in Port of Spain today if they've ever had to buy someone a gift, a drink, a lunch, a bribe in stronger language, as incentive to help them get something done. They all replied no, that's against their beliefs.
I believe in morals and ethics and principle. That's the proper way to get things done.
In reality, corruption is a subculture in Trinidad and that America it come from. And I think it's corrupt to even lie to the people because I want to make a spin with this Kamala issue because she's a practicing lawyer for 10 years and she made a corrupted response to what transpired thus far.
I think things should be moving normal instead of having bribes and you have to do things to get things. I think it's wrong.
I think people should be honest, right? Straight up, and just do the right thing.
Trinidad and Tobago is ranked 73rd in the Corruption Perception Index, and that's not very good for business, according to the CEO of the Chamber of Industry and Commerce, Catherine Kumar.
We believe, of course, that
if corruption is allowed to continue within any country, it would certainly threaten the fair conduct of business within that country, and it would make the environment a lot more difficult, and therefore would not be an attractive environment to direct foreign investment, or for that matter, even to our local investors.
She says all the constant talk of corruption, whether they are allegations or not, hurts our image. Chamber members, she says, must adhere to a code of conduct to prevent corruption in their practice.
We have a code of conduct which was established a few years back because we say if you're a member of the chamber, we have to ensure that you operate by a particular code that would ensure that there is no corruption happening within our members.
Richard Joseph, the chairman of the local chapter of Transparency International, says anti-corruption deterrents are low, but proposed government legislation can change that.
There are a number of things that the government should be pursuing and have started to pursue. And if we get in things like the procurement legislation on board, like the whistleblowing legislation on board, there are a couple other initiatives like the Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative.
Well, we move on now to what you saw. This is where we look at your photos sent to us by your community concerns to the address news@cnc3.co.tt. This first picture is sent to us by a TNTech crew of a landslide at Clifton Hill, and as you can tell, the road is completely blocked. This next photograph is sent to us by Christian. It's taken at the corner of Picton Road and George Karim Avenue in Sandy Grande of a huge pothole. The pothole is more than 6 inches deep and in urgent need of repair. Another picture sent by Harper complaining of poor customer service at PTSC. He told us that a picture of an empty counter was taken on Saturday. And finally, this is one from Kevin O'Connor in Tobago. He tells us that this dirty-looking sink is at Store Bay Beach Facility and saying this is no way to promote tourism. Remember, you too can send us your pictures and photographs, your video as well. news@cnc3.co.tt. Store Bay, one of my favorite places. I've never seen that sink, Charlene.
I've seen it, and actually Store Bay is my favorite beach in the whole wide world.
Oh, well, have something in common there. I love Store Bay.
You must be happy tonight. No one sent in any pictures that they took while they were driving. You should be happy.
Very good.
Let me just remind you of your vote. The question we're asking you to vote on tonight is, would you support any decision to stop the sale of alcohol at midnight? Text your response to the number 2623. If your response is yes, text Y. If your response is no, text N. We'll give you an update on the voting coming up after the Sportscast with Roger. And, of course, the final vote at the end of tonight's news. Of course, that question is coming out of Mayor Louis Leasing's decision or perhaps his move to stop the sale of alcohol in bars on Aripita Avenue and St. James after midnight tonight. I'm sure we'll get quite a lot of response on Facebook about that decision and that step. All right, well, it's over to Roger now. Roger, what you have for us tonight? I'm trying to guess. Secondary school football, no. Cricket in Sri Lanka.
Close. Rain in Sri Lanka.
No, England, Sepp Blatter. Not that you always have the same thing, but those are the big things that I always look out for.
Those are at this time.
Very soon, Roger will be telling us the weather report here now.
Yes, really. Man of many talents.
Well, coming up after the break on sports, it was a practical decision, says the WICB, to postpone the rain-affected one-day series. Kevon Carter tells us about his recovery from a broken leg. Sven-Goran Eriksson wants David Beckham at a non-Premier League club. Sheldon Bissessa sets another record, racing in Florida. Plus a great NBA finish. It's all next.
The colors of you. Sissons, good looks that last.
'Tis the season to watch plenty movies. Yeah, why not? When you sign up for DirecTV's Triple Treat, you're getting 50% off the HBO package for 12 months, the best basic package anywhere, and a DirecTV DVR, all for only $297 a month. So that's 10 premium HBO channels at 50% off, and the chance to record, pause, and rewind the movies, all at big savings. Sign up for DirecTV's Triple Treat today.
Here's a Pizza Hut Golden Stuffed Crust moment. Enjoy delicious mozzarella or pepperoni and mozzarella stuffed on the inside and crispy cheddar cheese on the outside. Mmm, so delicious and cheesy. It's the perfect taste to share time and time again. Pizza Hut, the best moments for sharing.
Coke caps plus $5 and get a Snowflake glass. Redemption booths, Long Circular Mall, Trinity Mall, Center City Mall, and J Distributors in Tobago.
Nature inspired a delicious way to keep your figure. Try the new Fitness Honey and Almonds. Crunchy flakes and delicious almonds with the delight of honey. Enjoy your 2 favorite tastes in each spoon. New Fitness Honey and Almonds. Such a treat.
Need a loan that's hassle-free. Island Finance. Up to $30,000 real easy. Island Finance. No down payment. Yes. No collateral. That's no problem. Yes, it's true. That's not all. They're quick and friendly too. Island Finance. Appliances, vacations, even fix your car. You can depend on Island Finance.
The one-day international series between Sri Lanka and West Indies was officially abandoned today, hours before the first game was scheduled to begin in Sri Lanka. Persistent heavy rain wiped out any chance of the game being played, and the Sri Lankan Cricket Board, the game's governing body in Sri Lanka, took the decision to postpone the series until January. Adverse weather also wrecked the 3-test series, forcing a 0-0 stalemate. West Indies are now scheduled to fly home in parts, at least, starting on Friday. The postponement comes after it was widely reported that the series would be abandoned, with the Sri Lankan Cricket Board denying this late on Wednesday. West Indies Cricket Board CEO Dr. Ernest Tilley said that a practical decision had to be taken in the interest of cricket with regard to the cancellation of the limited over portion of the series in Sri Lanka. He said the weather in Sri Lanka has been most disappointing throughout the tour, and a practical decision had to be taken in the best interest of cricket, the fans and the players. This country's under-20 footballers have started their campaign to qualify for next year's FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Colombia. The young Warriors, under head coach Zoran Vranic, are currently up against host team Suriname in their first leg Caribbean Football Union qualifier. This game is being played in Paramaribo. The game kicked off at 7. The return leg is carded for December 20th. At the Marvin Lee Stadium in Macoya. The winner of this game moves into the final CONCACAF round in Guatemala in April next year. As mentioned before, the Under-20 FIFA World Cup will be played in Colombia next year. Injured Defence Force striker Kevon Carter is on the mend. The 27-year-old Carter suffered a broken right leg in a First Citizens Cup quarter-final encounter against St. Anne's Rangers 3 months ago at the Manny Ramjohn Stadium. Carter spoke with Astel Wren about his ordeal and his journey to recovery.
3 months ago, the talented Defence Force striker Kevon Carter was stretchered off the field with a suspected broken right leg. Today, 90 days later, the Army frontman came to our studio on crutches, having visited his doctor. In recalling the incident, Carter says he knew it was bad when it happened.
I recall it in the ground, and I knew one time my foot was broken.
I remember telling Devon, my foot is broken, and from there I know I'll be out at the game for a little while.
Carter, who never represented the country at a major tournament, was looking forward to be part of Russell Ladapi's squad for the GCCL Caribbean Cup.
It was a cruel time because not only as a striker, I was now establishing myself on the national team to be a permanent fixture, and I think it is a setback because I have to start all over again.
Carter says light rehabilitation could start in January and he should be back on the field late March, early April. And he wishes Defence Force all the best in their quest for 2010 glory in the TT Pro League, despite being held to a draw against W Connection recently.
It's the first punch we dropped for the season. I mean, once we keep working hard, we'll finish the league on top. I mean, as years we've been working hard, trying to be on top of the Pro League, and I think it comes at the right time that we will achieve winning the league. And to the guys, I just want them to know to keep on working hard and success will come.
Reporting for CNC3 Sports, I'm Astil Wren.
Sven-Goran Eriksson has confirmed he made an audacious attempt to lure former England captain David Beckham to Leicester. The club's ambitious new owners are ready to back the Swede in the January transfer window with a number of big-name players linked with the npower Championship side. Beckham, who skippered his country under Eriksson's spell in charge of England, and he was named along with Tottenham striker Robbie Keane and Manchester City's Roque Santa Cruz, all reported to be on Eriksson's wish list. He confirmed he made an initial inquiry about Beckham, but was given short shrift by Beckham's representatives. Command your opportunities. That's the advice from former national footballer Tamar Watson as she spoke yesterday at the launch of a new program aimed at teaching life skills to kids between the ages of 10 and 16. Watson used the late Giselle Solandi as an example. The program is targeting 60 children in the Dabadi-O'Meara constituency of Sports Minister Anil Roberts and is conducted by Unified Boxing Promoters, of which Boxu Potts is a director. The program will look at education, life skills, sexual and general health, anger management and conflict resolution, among many other areas.
Too many times we see youths in the communities struggling to understand how to resolve conflict. They want to resolve everything with their fist and with a gun and with a knife. Too many times we've seen that. We want to bring them together. We want to bring them together in the communities to establish love, peace, harmony, and educate them.
Sports Minister Roberts told the youngsters gathered that a word of praise and thanks can go a long way in a young person's development, and this program, if successful, can help reduce social ills.
It is our fault that we have so many children choosing the wrong path because we have not provided them with opportunities to express themselves, to feel good about themselves, to achieve, to live, and to feel happy.
And Tamar Watson encouraged the children to grab every available opportunity.
It wasn't like this for us when we was a little younger, a generation ago. You know, we had to work really, really hard and bring forth goods out of nothing, from pits to palace. And that was Giselle. Giselle came from nothing.
Dragster Sheldon Bisessa wrapped up another successful season on the weekend when he bettered his personal best, the Open Outlaw Class record and top dragster track record at the Bradenton Motorsports Park in Florida. Driving his newly built methanol-powered top dragster race car, Sheldon Bisessa set out to the track 2 days before qualifying began to ensure that everything was working properly, and he had a very successful test run. On the first day of qualifying, Bisessa set the pace with the fastest time of the day of 6.00 seconds. No other car was able to successfully go any faster. On day 2 of qualifying, crew chief Aaron Sipple unleashed very mild increases in power, which Bisessa was able to translate into a speed of 5.82 seconds at 229 miles per hour. The third and final day saw each class begin their competition elimination passes. After 2 rounds, Bisessa and his race team decided to put a fresh set of tires. It was then in the semis that Bisessa rocked the record books and bettered his personal best of 5.77 at 242 miles per hour. as he achieved a new record of 5.73 seconds at 243 miles per hour. This new top dragster track record and open outlaw class record of 5.73 is the fastest known top dragster time done at an NHRA sanctioned racetrack anywhere in the world. And following his successful runs in Bradenton, Bisesa was awarded several prizes. Back at Sheldon Bisessa's 2010 season now on our sports stat, he managed 5 International Hot Rod Association wins, the IHRA Top Dragster World Record, and the Open Outlaw Dragster Class and Track Record. According to Bisessa's team, this has never been accomplished by any other driver worldwide. Teenager Sandina Moll edged Marielle Lancer by half of a second and copped the title of champion rider in the 110 meters Super League class of the Trinidad and Tobago Equestrian Association Super League competition held at the Hidden Valley Stables in Santa Cruz on Saturday. Runner-up was Lancer with 190 points. Third place, Melissa Shepard, finished on 130. At the end of round 1, the 15-year-old Moll, who rode Majestic 7, led with 4 faults. Shepard tallied 5 faults as Lancer struggled with 8. Round 2 saw Moll and Lancer tie in their combined faults, but Moll emerged the winner with a time of 82.2 seconds, defeating Lancer by 0.5 seconds. A couple close finishes in the NBA last evening. Let's take you to New York with the Knicks hosting the Toronto Raptors.
And it was all tied up with about 2 minutes left on the clock. Amari Stoudemire adding 2 for the home team there. The Raptors, Andrea Bargnani has been on form recently in Toronto. Needed him around 30 seconds left. He got the three-pointer to tie the scores up at 110 apiece. Now 10 seconds left. The Knicks, Raymond Felton shakes Jose Calderon. He goes for the three-pointer. The ball danced around the rim and finally dropped. 2.7 seconds left on the clock. The Knicks win their 6th straight, 113 to 110. And now for the craziest finish of them all. Just half a second remaining between the Pacers and the Bucks. That was enough. Time only for a tip-in. And guess what happened? Mbah a Moute putting up the lob. Australia's Andrew Bogut getting the deflection. Now, the Bucks had lost 8 of their previous 10 games. They'd be quite happy to win them all like this one, though. 97 to 95.
And remember, the clock does not start until the player actually touches the ball. That's why, with half a second, they were able to make that basket. Well, we wrap up now with the Sports High, which comes from the Copa Sudamerica final, Independiente against Goiás. And with 10 minutes still remaining in the first half, Parra scored his 2nd goal of the game to level the tie on aggregate. The striker improvising superbly to volley home while sitting on the turf after battling for the initial cross. As we look again, Parra keeping his cool and his aim to score. Independiente went on to win on penalties. Well, let's answer the trivia question. And that question was, who was Australia's Test captain before Ricky Ponting? And this is an easy one. Steve Waugh. He was the captain before handing over to Ricky Ponting, Waugh retiring in 2004. And Charlene, I want to say that this might be the end of Ricky Ponting, probably after this Ashes series, depending on how it ends. But so far, Australia is struggling.
And who might his successor be?
Michael Clarke is the vice captain and probably will be appointed captain. The Australians have a much better succession planning program than we kind of hope to have in the Caribbean.
Because I wanted to ask you that, given that everyone is making such a fuss about their performance in this Ashes, is this sort of the start of the decline for the
Well, they have declined over the last year. They've slipped from the top spot in the Test rankings, and they're now down to about 4th. So it is a decline, and the talent just not there.
Okay. Roger, thank you very much for the Sportscast. Let's take a look at the stories making headlines at this time. The Port of Spain mayor wants bars to stop selling alcohol after midnight in the St. James and Arapita Avenue areas. A report on the death of a pregnant mother at a public hospital is sent to the AG's office. Growing concerns about the increased crime in Tobago. And still to come, a Princestown family cries out for help. Their home is on the verge of collapse. But first, let's take a look at the status of the Your Vote. The question you're asked to vote on tonight is, would you support any decision to stop the sale of alcohol at midnight? Well, 55% of you have voted in yes, while 45% of you have voted in no. And of course, you still have the opportunity to get your vote in before the end of the newscast if you haven't done so already. Stay tuned. Coming up after the break, we'll have your weather. Stay with us.
B-Mobile's unbelievable, untoppable, unstoppable, unbelievable. B-Mobile's unbelievable, untoppable, incredible.
B-Mobile, unbelievable, untoppable, sparkling Christmas.
B-Mobile, untoppable, incredible, sparkling Christmas.
I-U-U-S-C. B-Mobile's incredible. No, it's incredible. It's two U's. It's two U's. B-Mobile, incredible, untoppable, untoppable.
It's B-Mobile incredible, unbelievable, untoppable, sparkling Christmas. Win $4 million in cash, offers and giveaways. Win the untoppable $200,000 jackpot every week. Incredible buy one, get one free on postpaid phones. Unbelievable postpaid data plans now at $99 unlimited. Sparkling deals on new handsets. All in B-Mobile's incredible, unbelievable, untoppable, sparkling Christmas. Can you say it? B-Mobile, TNT's #1 mobile network.
B-Mobile's unbelievable, something, something.
Introducing the Mac Foods Opera.
It's Christmas in Trinidad, so Mac Foods have, only Mac Foods have. Reach for the very best brand. Mac Foods have, only Mac Foods have.
The following credit card safety and security tip is brought to you courtesy of Scotiabank. Designate a card for your online shopping. If you regularly make transactions over the internet, consider opening a separate credit card account just for these transactions. This would help you to monitor your transactions at a glance and limit the available credit should anything go wrong. Be sure to immediately report any suspicious activity to your bank or credit card provider. This message has been brought to you by Scotiabank. Let us help you manage your finances wisely.
The time when we had to make our own ice. Baileys. Let's do this again.
A healthy body is a beautiful body.
Yeah, man. Personally, I think rhythm comes from within.
I want to look and feel beautiful, inside and out.
When we rehearse, it's all about good vibes.
I like having the freedom to be myself.
Cranberries contain natural compounds that help cleanse and purify your body and contains the highest level of antioxidants of any other fruit. Ocean Spray Cranberry Juice. Drink to life.
Moving to the rhythm, to the pulse, to the beat of the city. The city. When it comes to style and performance, that's so complete. Choose the city. The city. Taking on a life of its own. Always safely taking you home. That's the city. The Honda City. Live it. Honda City. From Classic Motors, the city.
The day started off a little bit on the rainy side. We had those showers going through from early in the morning. But as the morning went on, the showers tended to get less and less. And eventually, by after lunch, we went to sunny conditions. And that's because that trough system that was affecting us has gone down into the west and taken a lot of the moisture with it. There's a little bit of drying happening out to the east of us. The precipitation charts are not showing nearly as much moisture as there was up to this morning. So it looks like over the next couple of days we should see relatively good conditions. Forecasts indicating that the rainfall will taper off slowly right into Sunday. So it's possible we may have a pretty good weekend with just 1 or 2 isolated showers around. Other than that, nothing of any significance in the picture anywhere. Hurricane season is well and truly over as the winter storms truck across the North Atlantic, well to the north of the Caribbean. The winds are up a bit, 12 to 18 knots. They may well get up to 20 knots sustained at times during the day tomorrow. Certainly gusting 20 and possibly 22 knots out to an east-northeast to easterly direction. The seas are 2.5 to 3 meters. Now, those seas may actually get a little bit higher than that, particularly during the night tonight. You may see it up at 3.5. Big, powerful ocean swells, 12 to 14 second interval between them, out of a northeast to east-northeasterly direction. In the Gulf of Paria, sea should remain around 1 meter. Trinidad tonight's going to be mostly fair. There's a chance of a shower tonight, so it'll be 23 degrees. Tomorrow, Trinidad will be very, very cloudy, isolated showers, particularly from late morning into early afternoon, and a high of 31 degrees, which is a lot cooler than it has been. Tobago tonight, mostly fair, chance of a shower, low of 23, and Tobago tomorrow, partly sunny at first, and then they're looking at isolated showers, 1 or 2 isolated showers, mainly along the main ridge, and a high of 30. The sun's going to rise at 6:13 a.m. and sets at 5:44 p.m. And the first low tide for Port of Spain will be at 12:53 a.m. and for Scarborough at 12:38. First high tide 7:25 for Port of Spain and 7:10 for Scarborough. That's my weather report for now. We'll have a look at the travelers' forecast. Then we take a short break. When we come back, Charlene will have some more news for you.
It's a serenade of savings at CTC Comfort Zone, bringing you savings like never before. Like a sharp 32-inch LCD TV for only $3,999. And there's so much more in store, like metal and wood beds from $1,595. Only at CTC Comfort Zone.
A Best Street block is no ordinary block. It's the block that's super. Best Street, the name you can build on.
Do dark colors make a room smaller? Dark colors by themselves don't make a room look smaller, but combined with light colors, they might. It's high contrast colors that make a room feel smaller. The less contrast in a space, the larger it feels, whether the colors are all light or all dark.
All you want for Christmas is at Courts. Get 50% off all furniture for one day only. This Friday, 10th December. It's easy. Buy an appliance, electronic, or furniture piece, select a second item from a wide range of furniture, and pay half price. That's right, you get 50% off your second item. One day only. This Friday, 10th December. See Preston in store for details. All you want for Christmas is at Courts. Courts, bringing value home.
Welcome back. Security guards may soon find that they cannot apply for jobs without proper accreditation. This is the word from the Tertiary Education Minister, Fazal Karim, as he told this afternoon's post-cabinet media conference that his ministry is seeking to design proper training courses for the industry. The minister says there is a need to raise the bar for several classes of workers.
The policy document for the institution of legislation to regulate the private security industry. I say this in the context that some of the things that we have agreed to look at is the establishing of a licensing regime which would serve to monitor and authorize the operations of various private firms within the industry.
Well, many of you may be considering buying yourself a new car for Christmas. But before selling the old one, here are some tips to consider. Roshan Sukram reports.
Make sure your car is both mechanically sound and free from dents and scrapes. Consider making low-cost repairs yourself rather than selling it as is. Shovel out all the junk from inside of the car. That way, when a prospective buyer goes for a test drive, they can visualize the car as theirs. Know what your car is worth. Negotiate the best price, but be willing to make compromises.
Since the beginning of time, man has tried to create precious metal. The most sought after is gold. They have all failed, until now. The modern-day knights of the round circuits, both tarmac and loose, know how to use it. Protecting life, bettering economy, and giving users more power. Ultra Lubricants, quality in every golden drop.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. 'Cause Mario's is here.
Join Mario's in their drive to help our nation's less fortunate children. With every Mario's Ultimate deal you buy, Mario's will donate $5 from their sales towards a charitable organization. So get your slice for their smiles and bring some warmth to the life of a child today.
All you want for Christmas is at Courts. Get 50% off all furniture for one day only. This Friday, 10th December. It's easy. Buy an appliance, electronic, or furniture piece, select a second item from a wide range of furniture, and pay half price. That's right, you get 50% off your second item. One day only. This Friday, 10th December. See Preston in store for details. All you want for Christmas is at Courts. Courts, bringing value home.
Haiti says it will review the disputed results of its presidential election after violent demonstrations by supporters of a losing candidate. Protests in Haiti have escalated, with President René Préval calling for calm in a nationwide address.
Anger that has been simmering in Haiti spilled over into violence after the election results were announced. There had been widespread allegations of fraud after the voting at the end of last month. Much of the people's anger was directed at Jude Celestine, the candidate supported by the outgoing president. He came second to qualify for a runoff in January.
The Americans have elected Jude Celestine. They want to put him in power. If there is a second round, it is not for the people.
The headquarters of Mr. Celestine's party was set ablaze, and protesters also attacked the building housing the Provisional Election Council. Many of the protesters carried posters of the musician Michel Martelly, who came third in the election. Popularly known as Sweet Mickey, he failed to qualify for the runoff by less than 1% of the vote. The United States expressed its concern over the results.
What we are determined to help Haiti achieve is a credible election and a result, not one that the United States will impose, but one that the people of Haiti can participate in fully, and that the government that emerges reflects the will of the Haitian people and will have the legitimacy and support necessary to move the country forward.
The rubble used to barricade the streets is a reminder of Haiti's difficult year. First, the earthquake that left much of Port-au-Prince in ruins, and then the outbreak of cholera that's still spreading. The people's distress and frustration are now being expressed by violence.
Another quick commercial break. Stay with us.
Planning to purchase a new vehicle? Then talk to us at Answer Merchant Bank about in-one financing and pay for your vehicle financing, insurance and maintenance in one convenient monthly payment. Take the hassle out of purchasing that new vehicle with the in-one package, and you also receive pre-approved or on-the-spot financing, 24-hour roadside assistance, no legal fees, premier card discounts. Call 622-7650. Answer Merchant Bank Limited. Trust, security, confidence.
Rupnarine, your one-stop shop from foundation to furnishings. We have the widest range of power tools, bathroom fixtures, imported paint, steel, lumber, doors, tiles, plus many more items to build and beautify your home. Located just off the highway, Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, with lots and lots of free parking. Call 665-4145.
Wow, honey, this baked isn't good. It's soft and light and fluffy, honey.
Paul, wake up. You're at home. You're not in Maracas.
Well, this bake made me feel like I was in Maracas.
So you think it's only in Maracas you can get good bacon shack?
Honey, this bake made me feel like I was in Maracas.
Well, whenever I use this flour, the bake is always right.
Just like you, honey.
I know.
A Princestown family appeals for help. Their home is on the verge of collapse. Cameraman Ivan Tosi and Otto Carrington filed this report.
Shalini Sitran and her family say they are now living in fear as they believe that the only place they know as home will be lost because of constant land slippages in the area. The family's problems began when a Wassa main burst on the road directly in front of their home.
A Wassa line had burst in front of my dad's house, and it was a lot of water that came down into my parents' house and onto mine. It was steeping a little while, and as the land moved because of the water, it started making big cracks, and all the pores then filled with water, and it started to move the house.
They say the situation is becoming worse, but the Citrans are not alone. 4 other families are also living in fear that they will lose their homes. These pictures present a snapshot of how the pillars of the house have shifted. The Citrans say they have been forced to use oil drums to prop up their home, but they admit it's not safe. To add salt to their wounds, she told us that officials of the Housing Development Corporation visited the site but became upset when they saw media personnel on the site.
The HDC people said that they will try to help out, but now they saw you all and
taking steps to introduce the ban of sale of alcohol in the St. James and Arapita Avenue areas. And that's how we end the 7 o'clock news here on CNC3. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Charlene Ramdani.
I'm Samson Anton.
And I'm Roger Sant, and as usual, I look at beautiful TNT.